Kelsey and I both walked through a season of pain and personal brokenness in our lives, coming from marriages that had failed, finding ourselves alone. The Bible says what a man longs for is unfailing love. So that was an area of brokenness, for both of us. I'll be honest, I found myself really struggling and really fumbling. At one point, I had looked to the church early on after my divorce, for support, for strength, for guidance. I was so lost and broken. To be honest, I found myself disappointed. I felt alone. I felt rejected. I felt ashamed. Now, feelings are fickle, and they're not always reality. But they're your reality when you're feeling those things. My relationship with God was intact. I never doubted the goodness of God. I always sensed God's hand upon my life. I always felt Him leading and guiding. But I felt a disconnect from the church, and I found myself in this struggle between my love for God and being very much absent from a community. Christianity and our faith is not meant to be lived in isolation. We do not do well. The Bible says it's not good for man to be alone for a reason. Isolation is not a good place to be, especially for guys. We want to do it on our own. We want to be strong. Like so often, one of the hardest things for a guy to do is to come to a place and say, hey, I need help. I need someone to walk with me. It took me a little while to get there. I know when I walked through my season of pain, I would do anything I could do to try to numb myself from what I was feeling. I received a piece of advice from somebody. You're trying to fast track this grief and this pain. You're trying to fast track your pathway to healing. And she said, you need to sit in it. You need to allow yourself to feel the pain. You need to allow yourself to feel the loss and work through everything that you have to work through. You can't rush it. And I'll be honest, I was not happy because I was looking for a quick fix, something to take away the pain, something to make things better. And when she was giving me the complete opposite, that piece of advice was probably the wisest piece of advice perhaps I've ever been given. And that's what I did. I sat in it. I allowed myself to feel. It's easy when we're walking through relational brokenness to point fingers and to look at how others may have disappointed us or how others may have failed us or let us down. But the healthiest thing that we can do is to look at, our side of the street and say, where did I fail? Work through that process of being honest with myself. It was extremely painful. It was layer after layer after layer. Things that took root from a very young age, 10 years old, naming those things, facing those things, and surrendering those things. That's hard work, and it's heart work. The most painful process I ever walked through, but it led me to the healthiest place of my life where I finally felt free. Being honest with myself and growing as not only as a man, but as a man of God, led me to a place where, when God brought Kelsey into my life, fairly prepared to be the man and the husband. I'm so grateful for her. I say to know her is to love her. God uses our spouse to speak into us and to speak life into us. God has been so good to me, so gracious, so good, so kind, so loving. I never want to fail Him, and I never want to fail my family.